Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Sunday afternoon, which means it is time for us to talk about coping with stress. And the truth is, we all cope with stress every day, and our weekly broadcasts are to help you in some way, hopefully, cope with it a little better. And what we're going to be talking about in a little while is how to reduce your stress by improving your self esteem. Think about that. If you've got low self esteem, then what's going to happen is you're also going to be more stressed. And so think about that, and we'll give you some ideas on how you might do that as we go through the broadcast. So, a very warm welcome to everybody, and to let you know that we are uh, a group of people. It's not just me. We're a group of people who get together on a weekly basis. And we are very happy to do that. We help each other go through life in general. On Friday lunchtime, we talk about coping with feelings and how we have control over our feelings, even if we'd like to think that we don't. And it's really important for you to understand that you can control your feelings. I know that for a long time in my life, I thought I couldn't. But the truth is, I have learned that I can control my feelings. It takes a little while and it takes some knowledge and some practice. But the truth is, I now know I can control my feelings. What used to take me years to get under control now takes me, in a bad situation, maybe days or even hours. And in just a general situation, takes moments now. So we're a great believer in helping people see that by giving them case studies and how things happen. And then on Friday evenings we talk about coping with life. How can we do things with a smaller budget than we used to have? And it's going to get even smaller as the cost of living goes up even more, which it will after this pandemic and everything, and how we can, make fun things and save money at the same time. And I'm going to be giving you a few ideas about that. I'll talk about it in a second anyway. But first of all, let me just wish everybody a happy Labor Day weekend. I don't think it matters what country you're in. As some of you know, I live in Canada, and we also have a Labor Day weekend. And I'm quite excited because Auntie Yvonne is coming over to visit me tomorrow. I call her Auntie Yvonne because that's what the kids called her. But anyway, Yvonne's coming over to visit me tomorrow with my birthday present. And my birthday was last week, but well, actually, it's still this week, right? Because it was on Monday. And so I am obviously excited, not for the present, but to see Yvonne. Mind you, I'm also a bit excited about the present. She's very, very thoughtful in those things. And so here's my first quote for you today. My first quote would be, "You are not your mistakes." Anybody ever made any? Yeah, I have lots. Right? You are not your mistakes. They are what you did, not who you are. And as I keep reminding my viewers, don't just think about that in terms of you. Turn the mirror a bit and think about it about a friend of yours that's made a mistake, maybe towards you. Can you remember that they are not their mistakes? The mistake is what they did, it is not who they are. And therefore, the fastest way you can be a really true friend to that person is to say, "Hey, buddy, I know you made a mistake. Believe me, I know about those. I made a few in my time. I know it is what you did, not who you are. So let's move on." Wouldn't you love to hear that from a friend? Jody's saying, "I only make mistakes on any day ending with a Y, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday." Yes. And, it's important to remember that we all do, and that doesn't make us, bad people in any way. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And also, of course, here on YouTube, because we're always updating people with news on viewers and things like that. Also, remember that I am not a psychologist, psychiatrist, anything like that with an ist at the end. I am just an old fart with gray hair. I've lived a long time. And a lot of what you hear me talk about is either from my experience or stuff that I've been researching over the years and just, hopefully will help you. I wanted to give an update for those who weren't on the broadcast on Friday to let you know that Erin is having a pretty tough time with her kidneys at the moment, and just keep her in your thoughts and prayers, please. And Jody, if you could uh, just remind me, Jody is our admin, by the way. Jody, if you could just remind me to put up thoughts and prayers for Erin, I'd appreciate that. So your success will be determined by your own confidence and fortitude. That means your determination, whatever. When I say your success, do you want to be happy? Do you want to change a habit? Do you want to, succeed in, making something? If so, your success will not be determined by anything other. Think about that. All right, then your confidence to try it and your fortitude or determination to keep going until you get there. I always say that to people. People say to me, "Oh, sir, I can't believe you know how to do that. You're so clever." I go, "No, I'm not." Believe you me, I worked long and hard to learn how to do this. And that is really important for you to understand, all right? Things don't happen by chance. I don't believe that some people are more talented than others. I believe that some people spend more time developing their talent than others, yes. By the way, we'd like to wish happy birthday this week to Jeannie on the 8th and to Beth's husband, Charles, on the 10th. And if there are any other birthdays this week that we have forgotten about, please let me know so we can add it to our database, which I think we've just about had a year of rebuilding it now, Jody. So hopefully we've got most people on there now. But if we have missed anybody this year or you'd like to be added to it, please let us know at DearMamaSal@gmail.com or here on a broadcast. My thanks to Lynn, you know who you are, for the fun thumbnails. Those are the little pictures we put up when we're warning you that there's a broadcast coming. I really, I don't ever want a week to go by that I don't let you know how much I appreciate the work you put in. How about this one? You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Let me read that again. You, you, as much as anybody in the universe, deserves your love and your affection. How many of you can honestly say that you love yourself? Warts and all, mistakes and all, things you haven't done in your life that you promised yourself you would and all. How many of you can say, actually, I like me? I like me. Yeah. I'm not perfect, but hey, I like me. If you can say that every morning, and by the way, it's a good time to say it when you're putting on your makeup in the morning, or deodorant, or scrubbing your teeth, or whatever. Start your day with, hey, I like me. And it doesn't matter if nobody else does. You see, I like me. And that's called self-esteem. And it's also self-confident. And does it mean that I won't make any mistakes today? Of course it doesn't. No, I'm bound to. I'm a human. Can I laugh at them? Most of them, yes. Some of them I'm gobsmacked. I think that's a English expression where you go, can't believe I did that. Like when I dropped my concealer in a glass jar all over my tile floor. I must admit, as it fell and shattered and splattered, and it's concealer, so it's thick, ooey stuff, right? And it was just like, oh, that's going to be a mess to clean up. And then I realized I was barefoot, and there was shattered glass all over my floor. So the first thing was to get the big bits of glass off, and then it was a case of getting the smaller bits of glass off that I couldn't see, and then it was a case of, now how am I going to get rid of the stains everywhere, and when I finished, I looked at the job I'd done and was quite pleased, and then thanked goodness and God for the fact that it had not broken one of my new tiles. How many of you thought about that one? It was just like, oh, imagine if that had broken a tile, one of my new tiles in my bathroom. I also wanted to just let you know, I got a note from, I don't know if any of you saw that, but in the comments, we got a note from Nana this week, which I was really pleased to see. And apparently she had watched our broadcast on making crackers. And if you missed that, I really would like to suggest you check it out, because what we found out was you can make flour for making crackers out of just about any major grain group. We made it out of almond flour, regular flour. I later made it out of oat flour, brown rice flour. It was just like any flour. You like huck in an egg and then start adding things. All right. So, Beth, we just wanted to wish Charles a happy birthday for the 10th. I did mention that just now in case you weren't here. All right. So, Jeannie, we understand that you got some phone problems, and we'll look forward to you getting your new phone. And by the way, all the best with your bursitis. That cortisone shot is not fun, but it does relieve the pain. Believe me, I know. I've had them in my knuckles and in my thumb. Yeah, right. Enough about that. I want to just let you know, in terms of making the crackers, I made the oatmeal cinnamon honey ones yesterday. Oh, we reminded you of his birthday. Oh, good to hear, Beth. I am so glad I mentioned it. Sometimes I wonder how far down the line we need to go to acknowledge birthdays, but I'm so glad I added that one. Yeah, you're working too much. Yeah, never a true word spoken in jest. I agree with you. You're always working too hard, Beth, but you love it. And you will pay the price for it, but you love it. So that is, and also you've had success from it. So think about that. All right. Just because your work ethic is that much better than everybody else's, no wonder you went through the ranks so quickly. I'm looking forward to when you become regional manager, actually. I wonder if your regional manager is getting worried. I don't know about the crackers, but I have to tell you, when I was making those oatmeal ones with cinnamon honey, I thought, why didn't I do this before? I mean, it was, I know it took a little bit longer when I was demonstrating it, but quite honestly, I just tucked everything into the container. I blitzed it on the magic bullet and till it was pretty well mixed up. And then I added a bit more oats to it to have the crunchy bits of the raw oats. And then, I went, wow, that was pretty simple. And where are they? And I might even have those with a little bit of no sugar added type raspberry jam on top. Have it as dessert, maybe. And what I'm doing is I'm just making little baggies of them. So I got choices. But the ones that I have to tell you, I didn't taste them at the time, but I just need to tell you, those ones that we made with the sunflower seeds and all the other bits that were left over from something, so good. With cream cheese, yeah, I want to tell you, really good. So again, I have no idea why I didn't do it before, but I didn't. But I tell you something, I will be spending a lot less on buying crackers this year. However, I've also noticed, have you ever done this? Talk about creating stress. Have you ever done it where you went into the kitchen to do something, and 2 hours later you found out that apparently your body wanted to tear apart a cupboard and start again? Have you ever done that? I had a plan to rest yesterday, and the next thing I knew, I was in the kitchen here. I wonder if I can, yeah, not really. Hang on a second. Oops. Okay, you can just about see that cupboard up there now, right? All right, hold on a second. For some reason, I pulled everything out of there. And it's tidy. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I've actually put my artwork on my cupboards. Can you see that? I think you can, right? And I'm going to put some artwork on this one as well, because why not? You know, it's I'm trying to keep it with the colors that are presently in the kitchen. I'm not OCD, but I don't know why. I hate looking at that through the computer when they're not sort of like nearly level. Perhaps I am more OCD than I know. Now then, I was talking to you. Well, first of all, let me give you another quote here. I'm just trying to get this quote up bigger because it's too small for me to read the way that it is. Listen up on this one, guys. Quiet that voice of doubt inside you. You are good enough. You do deserve good things. You are smart enough. You are worthy of love and respect. You are amazing just the way you are. Don't go changing. Try to please me. Yep. I think it's really important for you to see that. Beth is saying she sent me a picture. Beth, I will. Is it important that I see it now during the broadcast? I noticed that Jeannie's saying that her doctor used a really small needle to do her injection and use Novocaine first. Think I need to visit your doctor. Okay. Well, of course, now I've got to look, Beth. So just hold on. I'll do it on my phone. Oh, there are more before and after shots in her. Yeah. Beth, you know something, Beth? You know, when I do things like this, Beth, and I organize a cupboard like that, and it's all, looking neat. What is that called? Not frontage. What is that called, Beth, in the business? There's a word for it. Maybe facing, yes. When I get that right, I go, oh, Beth would be so happy with me for that. And it's actually, I found that I had actually destroyed two cupboards and two other shelves. I did that up there and two others. And I'm going, what am I doing? It's meant to be my day off. I'm meant to be relaxing today. But apparently, that's what relaxing looked like to me this week. All right, so now then, you will remember I was complaining on Friday that I was under some stress. You know what I said is that even though prices are going up, remember to buy the things that you love. All right. And, save on the crackers, but buy the things you love. And one of the things I was getting upset about was I was not able to get more Marmite from my local store that I normally buy from. Now, I want to tell you something really funny about Marmite, or I think it's funny. I used to shop at a different store, and they decided it wasn't important to carry Marmite. So being who I am, I said to them, are you thinking of bringing it back? And they said, no. And I said, it's a pity. And they said, what? And I said, it's a pity because I now have got to go and shop at a different store, one that does sell Marmite. And I want to tell you that was probably 20 years ago that I moved from Safeway to Save On. And and allowing for the fact I probably spend 150, anybody want to do the math on this? I probably spend $150 a week on my shopping. I know, it's ridiculous. Times 52 weeks, times 20 years. Can anybody do that math for me while I carry on talking? I just want to tell you that for me alone, that is how much it costs Safeway to not carry Marmite for me. And then I couldn't find it at Save On this week. Obviously we've got delivery problems going on everywhere. And what I did was I actually found it on Amazon because I didn't really care where I found it. It was, I want to make sure that I am going to have Marmite. So again, I am back to having the one I'm using, the Air, and this is the Spare. That's of the things that I really need. For example, if it's toilet paper, I want to have enough for this month, next month, and the month after. That way I don't have to be stressed because I've got 2 months to find another deal on something. So now I'm happy. How many of you are going, how much did you pay for it, Sal? I was quite surprised. I paid $14, but this will last me probably over a season. I use it in gravies. I know it sounds terrible, but I also use it on toast. I grew up eating it on toast. So yeah. So to me, it's like, this is not a waste of money. It's part of my, I feel good when I have it, right? Makes sense. So don't save money on the things that you are not too fussy about, but make sure you keep the things that make you feel special. Now, you remember I said that I dropped by the way, if anybody else had any fun unboxings, please let me know. And just before I get on to the next thing, I see Jeannie's saying, I don't know what BD is, Jeannie. Oh, birthday. Okay, I think that's birthday. Okay. You have a colonoscopy on the 9th. Well, we'll make a note of that and wish you well on that one. Okay, so, and I mean that sincerely. I realized that that might have sounded a bit flippant. I didn't mean it to be. The next thing that I did was, I dropped my concealer over the floor. Well, I don't know about you, but I've been seeing these concealers that you put on with like a mushroom thing. You've seen those. And I decided I wanted to get some, so I did. And what it does, if I can just show you this, it's got the packaging of it is really surprisingly good. In other words, it's got this mushroom thing, but that is contained in its own little container like this, so it doesn't get all nasty, with germs and things lying out. I like that. It's like an easy to drop it in there and then just put the lid on it. I liked that. I don't know about you, but I know you're going to laugh at me. The reason I liked the idea of it was because what you do is you tap the mushroom on top here, and it makes this little pattern. Now, why would I want a foundation that makes a pattern like that? Well, just because. How many of you are going, yeah, I can understand that, so yeah, I'm a creative person. And what I wanted to show you was actually surprisingly how well it works. So don't know if you can see I've got age spots on there. Let's see how it goes. I actually haven't tried this, but let's try it. What do you think? In case you missed that, where have I got more gremlins? I must have more. I mean, a whole of my face, perhaps. I know that I've got a mole here, and it did a really good job of just, covering that up pretty well. See? Now, the other thing is, because you know it, so the other thing is, by the way, you're probably wondering how much. I could be a tattoo artist, right? The other thing is that I, being me, checked to see if I could get the top of this off. And I can. Which means I can now, you see, what I like is the applicator and the way in which it does it, right? So now I know I can buy, if I want to, actually, I'm pretty impressed with this stuff. So now I know I can refill it if I want to. If I can see a deal on liquid concealer, I can fill it up. But what surprised me is how well this color, just by chance, matches my skin. So I probably would spend the money again. Question. Those of you who are into makeup in a big way, Jody, you probably would be able to help me on this. There is part of me that worries about buying BB cream. I think it's called BB cream, right? From China. And by the way, I got this through Amazon, but I know that it comes from China. Why? Because you've got Chinese writing on it, so you see that? So, but I just thought everything about it. Actually, there's nothing about it so far that I haven't liked. I thought that was really pretty. I love the way this was contained. And of course, I love the fact it had the pattern. All right, so that's that. Now then, we're going to get on to the subject in a second. But before I do, you remember, be prepared, not scared. Oh, Beth is saying I would research that brand on YouTube. Which brand? I don't think I can write that. Or maybe it's called that. Maybe it's just called Flawless Nude Makeup. Okay. Is there an ingredient list? No? No, nothing. Okay, Jody, could you just see if, not waste a lot of time, but see if Flawless Nude, as in no clothes on, Flawless Nude Makeup is anywhere. I would say go for the Google it rather than YouTube it, because sometimes it's quicker to read the words. Now then, the last thing I wanted to show you in unboxing, and if you've had any unboxings, please do me a favor and let us know. One of the things I wanted is to get ready for winter and growing my vegetables. I'm going to grow some of my tomatoes inside, and I also would like to try growing peas and beans inside in the winter. I'm just going to use baskets on my deck for the fall. And what I found... Say hello. Stay. All right, what I found were 8 baskets. 8 baskets, okay? And they come with a oh, good idea, Beth. Amazon sometimes gives the ingredients. Thank you. I'll be able to look that up. Anyway, they come with a water goodie, so that the roots don't end up in water, but also a self-watering thing here. Now, I don't know about that hole at the bottom. Obviously, that's excess water, but surely it should have a plug. Maybe it does. Yes, it does. It's such fun. Okay, so it's got a plug you can put in there if you haven't got arthritis. Okay, we did it. All right, and also that's good. So if you've overwatered it, you can let the water out. Good. It comes also with the chains that you need. Obviously, that's going to be fun undoing the chains. But what I liked is the chains also came with a hook. So there we are. I thought that was a good deal. And I'm going to be busy filling those up. So, and what I was thinking was that I could even hang, if I put a rod across between my 2 cupboards here, I could even hang some here if I wanted to. I could put 2 actually. So because we know that gets the most light there. But my spare bedroom also gets a lot of light, so I'm going to hang a couple in there as well. All right, so that's my fun for this week. And hi to Kimmy there. All right. Uh, I want to just let you know that it has been a difficult week for me, and I was talking about this a little bit on Friday, which is I got a bit scared this week. By the way, just in case anybody wants to know, those planter containers, they ended up at about $4 each, which I think, considering you get the chains and the hooks, that's a pretty good price, I thought. How about this for a quote? To love yourself right now, as you are, is to give yourself heaven. Don't wait until you die. If you wait, you die now. If you love, you live now. And so, how many of you know that part of my joy every day, part of my happiness, is playing with things like this? All right. Um, so, I see that as an investment in my mental health, an investment in my mental health. I realized that I got really good. And when I found out that actually my egg cartons are about the best seed planters that I found for actually growing seeds. And this is a whole lot of basil. And I'm going, what am I going to do with it? And I thought, I'm going to, why did I put that much? I need like one or two plants. I don't need, 600 of them. But I thought, I'm just going to grow them and get them potted and looking pretty, and then I will give them as presents for Christmas. Who doesn't like some fresh herbs in their kitchen? I want you to get into the habit of saying the words, I am worth it. If you can say that to yourself, then what you end up doing is reducing your stress. How much stress do you give yourself by thinking, oh, I really, I shouldn't do this, or I shouldn't do that, or it's not a good idea that I do? No, I scared myself stupid because I had well, a big bill to pay, and some of you know about that. That it's time. The renovations are nearly finished now. The deficiencies are nearly finished now, and now it's got to the stage where I need to pay for the extras I put in when I was rebuilding, and it's a fairly hefty bill. And quite honestly, I've been sort of leaking money. Do any of you relate to that? I've been leaking money in the last 5 months, and it's needs to stop, and I'm just about there, but I realize I've still got more I've got to spend even after I pay this bill. So there was that part of me, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, that was really beating up on myself because I was scared of paying the bill. The other thing was that I realized that I was cold. Now, I don't know if any of you relate to this, but I really had to shake my head and give myself a 2x4, because it was like, how stupid can I be? What happened was I realized I was cold. And then, intellectually you go, well, Sal, if you're cold, turn the furnace on. And I'm going, I can't turn the furnace on. It's September. Do any of you relate to that? That you've got this habit that is, I don't turn the furnace on until October, and as late as possible in October. Do any of you relate to what I'm saying here? And I found myself, I mean, I'm a fairly intelligent person. I found myself literally wrapped up with a blankie around my feet and another blankie around my shoulders, and literally like this, watching a television program. And I went, what are you doing? you know, and I'm going, you're cold. Put the furnace on. And I did. because I'm worth it. You understand? It was, and I just went, I don't care that it's still September. The temperatures have dropped dramatically. Put the heat on some. And I did. And it's only going to kick in when it gets too cold. It's not going to kick in, when it's too hot, is it? But, I had to laugh at myself. It took me, I was amazed I wasn't wearing a toque or a beanie, I think you call it in the States. I was amazed I wasn't, or one of those things with the earmuffs, I was literally, like this. Oh my gosh, for an intelligent person, am I the only one that does stupid things like that? So I got into the habit of saying the furnace doesn't go on until October. Well, hello, I've changed that thinking. How stressful is that? Now it's a case of the furnace doesn't go on until the temperature drops low enough that it needs to go on. That's the new one now. But Kimmy's saying she relates to it, so I'm glad to hear that. You may be the only person left who believes in you, but that's enough. It takes just one star to pierce the universe of darkness. Don't ever give up in believing in yourself. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter if nobody else believes it. What matters is that you do. Make sense? Do not give up on yourself ever. You can take your time. It can take you 5 years longer than you planned it to, but don't give up, please. A very famous writer, Maxwell Maltz, I used to read a lot of his stuff early on. I think he was a cosmetic surgeon. And what he talked about was that he was amazed that he could take a woman and he could correct the flaws in her face. And when he'd finished and she ended up beautiful, she still didn't see herself as beautiful. And he wrote a book about that. And I remember reading, and he was saying, that self-esteem, starts from the inside, not the outside. It starts from the inside. So if you want to be beautiful, make sure that you work on the inside, not the outside. All right, because how many of you know, a smile is beautiful. A sparkle in your eyes is beautiful. A sense of humor comes from the inside. It's beautiful. Kimmy's saying that she's trying to wait until the 1st of November before she puts her heat on. You may need very warm clothes, because I think from what I'm seeing here, if I'm this cold where I am, I'm pretty sure it's getting pretty cold where you are, Kim. But do you understand that you could give yourself permission to turn the heat on earlier if you are cold? That takes a confidence, and I know it takes a budget. But it might be, Kimmy, that you just put it on that it's a little bit warmer, right? I want to talk about this as well. I do a lot of my measurements with my, this is my meat probe, but I found this thing is the most useful thing in the world. Given one day I thought I was running a temperature, so I checked, and I wasn't. I did sort of clean it pretty well first. And then here's what I found out, okay? That there's a temperature here at this level, and then there's the temperature at floor level. I am finding out that the temperature at counter level can be as much as 5 degrees different from the one at floor level. I have a crawl space under my house, and I think that's why. So there's a lot of cold air underneath my house. And I was absolutely amazed at that. And then I started to think, very dangerous thing for me. And I'd like you to think about it as well, which is, where is your thermostat in your house? Is it at eye level? Is your thermostat at eye level? Because if so, you understand, you may want to put a thermometer down on the floor and find out what's the real temperature at my feet. And if you are older, as I am, also think about the fact that you are likely to feel the cold more at the foot level anyway, just because of the circulation. All right, Jeannie, all the best. And, happy Rosh Hashanah for you too, starting on Monday. All right. Happy New Year. And I'm sorry you're having problems with your phone. You want to try it on your computer. I know you've got one somewhere. So think about that. If your thermostat is sitting at eye level, you understand that it's only picking up the temperature at eye level. It's not picking up the temperature at the floor level. Now, why am I mentioning that? Some of you've got pets. And I know that pets are pretty well insulated and they know how to keep warm. But I know some of you are a little bit obsessive about your pets. No names mentioned, Jody. And, what I want you to think about is think about maybe raising their bed up. I don't know whether, your dog actually sleeps on your bed, but that would be way up and very warm. But, think about those things, all right? Which is, if you don't allow your dog on your bed, then think about giving it more layers of bedding, so it can, make them into a little nest and then, be warm. Now, as you all know, dogs are really good at self-warming. They curl up in a circle so that the hot air from their nose, basically goes around them, which is very clever. Most animals are really good about preserving heat. And they've got a fur coat that they wear all of the time. So don't need to panic about it. But I was thinking, for some of you who are a little bit OCD about your pets and don't know that they're pretty good at regulating their heat levels, it's like maybe think about raising their bed up a bit, maybe a foot off the floor even. Just an idea. Jeannie's saying she's been a Catholic for many years, but she remembers her Jewish roots. Yes, I don't think it's a bad idea to remember your roots of any sort. So well done. Enjoy both sides of that. You get twice as many holidays if you celebrate both, right? That's the way I always look at it. All right, here we go. The only thing that matters in life is your opinion of you. Actually, your opinion of yourself is the proper quote. And do you agree? Do you agree that your opinion of you will determine your self-esteem? Your opinion of you will determine how many boundaries you set. Right? If I think nothing of myself, I will allow people to walk all over me. But, if I have self-esteem and if I feel pretty good about myself, I can put down boundaries wherever I want to and not worry about it. Why? If I put down a boundary and somebody decides they don't want to be my friend anymore because of the boundary, I go, okay, so time to get some new friends. You see, if you have self-esteem, it isn't a problem. You know that you are worth knowing, and you just need to get yourself out there a bit more and meet a few more people. You'll pick up a friend along the way. All right. Maybe pick up a new hobby, maybe do something out of the house. One of my friends told me once about the fact that I wasn't going out and dating. She said, I haven't noticed them lining up outside the door, Sal. And I said, what? And she said, the guys, I'm not noticing that they're lining up outside the door. You may want to leave the house to find a couple. And I always remember that. That was such a good thing about what was I expecting? People would come knocking on my door. Then we got internet dating, so that was solved that a problem quite a bit. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about this problem about the heat. I want to go back there. I'm a great believer that there are no coincidences. So here I was, worried about paying bills, worried about the big bill I had to pay, worried about turning the heat on a month early, that's going to up the bills. And then I went, no, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. I've been two things happening. I've been overpaying my bills in the summer, but then I also remembered I made a total mistake on my gas bill during the fire time and overpaid them to the tune of close to 300 because I paid them and then the insurance paid them as well. And I ended up with, this big credit. And I'm going, don't think I'm going to worry too much about my bills from the gas company this fall. Why? I got 300 extra bucks in there, and that I can be nice and toasty if I want to. Now, the other thing I was thinking about, and maybe that would lower some stress, is you remember what I found out in the summer, which is sometimes you don't need a complete air conditioner. You just need one of those little ones that will just keep you cool where you're sitting. And that's a cheaper way to go, or a fan that keeps you cool. I was thinking they'd be interesting to see. I really believe in those small ceramic heaters. They're about this big. And I've got at least one somewhere here, probably two, that, they could be in the shed. And they are so good at heating a small space. One of those would heat my RV, my trailer, 26-foot trailer, in minus 12 degrees. That's, amazing. And I used to use it instead of the propane heater in my trailer because it did a better job. So there's a thought about that, which is, do I need to heat the whole house this winter the way that I do? I found that running my pilot light, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to put the pilot light on in my living room area because that actually, does throw some heat out, and it throws it out at floor level. So I think that would be a good thing to do. Just let it get the chill off. Yes, those ceramic heaters throw some serious heat, Jody's saying. Yeah, I'm a great believer in that. So what I may do is just try the ceramic heater for when I'm watching television, just at the foot level. Because now the other thing I was thinking, hey, if I don't want to turn the furnace on big time, maybe I should invest in a good pair of slippers that would keep my feet warm. Because where am I feeling it? Obviously around my shoulders. Well, I can wear a blankie if I really have to, or I can put a throw rug over my knees and so forth. But I was thinking, really, I could also invest in a good pair of shearling type slippers this year, which would also help. So one way or the other, think about how you're going to keep warm and start planning it now because we're getting close to that, what I call the silly season, where we have to buy presents for other people. So this is a good time to buy a present for yourself. And keeping warm in a cheap way. I know that I'm always worried about using electricity for heat because electricity is so much more expensive. But if you're using a small ceramic heater, I think that's pretty cost effective. As far as I remember, it's a very cost effective way to heat. And you could think about it. Where are the places that you sit and get cold? All right. Watching television for me, in my office sort of, craft room area is another one. And those really are the only places that I get to feel cold. No, in the winter, my bathroom gets very cold. So part of the reason, but what I learned to do was just before I go to shower or something is to crank the heat up and get the bathroom warm and then put it back down again. And, in other words, you can do that. Just blast the heat up and get the whole place warmed up so you can, have a nice shower and be warm while you shower. We know that by adding more self-care can help you build self-worth. Jody is really good on this one. Jody has gone through cancer and lymphedema and, you name it, she's been through it. And one of the things that she does that I've noticed, because she talks about it to me, is she's really good about her self-care. Now, what would that look like? That's things like she gives herself a good manicure, or she gives herself a good pedicure. She doesn't see that as a waste of time. You see, it helps her self-esteem. It's got to be worthwhile. And I wonder how many of you do things like that. Maybe you can't afford to get highlights in your hair from the stylist anymore, but can you do it yourself? You know what I mean? It's like, think about that. I found that doing things that make you feel good are really important, and not a waste of time. Make the time to do it, because it really is an investment in your self-esteem, and therefore lessens your anxiety. You see, and I'll talk about this again in a little bit, but there's something about looking after your self-esteem that also looks after your mental health. And it's important to know that we are responsible for that. I found that I'm increasing my indoor activity again now, because the weather's getting colder and wetter. And although I do want to make sure that I do get out and walk in the rain, because that's fun to do, I also know that I need to keep my steps up. It's sort of like I'm on borderline at the moment, but I want to increase them. And I did find that I was able to do that last year. I'm sorry to keep pulling up my, no, I'm happy. I'm happy to keep pulling up my, it's like, look at this. I can get 2 fingers in here now easily. And that's why I have to keep pulling them up. Next year, I'll have to get a different size, obviously. So exciting. What I found, and I think about this, is that if you get up and walk for, while you're watching television, just stand and just walk. I found you don't actually have to lift your toes. So keep your toes on the ground, but just walk like this. And when you first start doing it, it's like, I'll never be able to do this for 10 minutes. But, then you get absorbed with what you're watching. And the next thing is the 10 minutes is up. That's 1,000 steps. That is 1,000 steps that you will do in 10 minutes. Surprising, isn't it? I find if I walk down to the post office and loop around to come back again, that's about 1,500 steps for me. So you look at it and go, what do you want to do to help yourself? And does eating properly fall into self-care? Yes. Getting enough exercise, self-care equals better self-esteem. Jody mentioned something to me today about the fact that she has gone, if you can imagine this. Jody, can I talk about the height thing? Is it okay? I just want to make sure she's okay that I talk about it. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Jody was saying that she was 5'8", and that surprised me. But she is now down to 5 foot. What did you tell me, Jody? I forgot. She'll let me know. But she has lost, like, I think it's 4 inches. She's 5'4" or something now, all due to arthritis. And one of the things that she talked about was that she is aware that she's stooping, when she walks. A lot of us are doing that, Jody. She's 5'3" now. She's lost 5 inches in height as her spine deteriorates, I would think, right? But one of the things that she talked about was the fact that she finds that she's stooping as she walks. And it's a really important thing to know, what does straight mean? And here's what I said. You see that vertical right there? this is what I do, and I'm going to show you, but my voice might not carry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stand against it just like this, and then I'm going to make my body touch it. I'm going to get my body to have this part touch and the back of my head touch, and you watch how it changes my posture. Hold on a second. Okay, so this is normal, and now I'm going to put my feet against the bottom of it, and the first thing I start to do is start to unbalance, and now putting my shoulder blades against there, and now my head. Wow. And I can feel my heels wanting to come up, and I'm going to push my heels back down, and I can feel it in here. And now I'm going to stretch my spine, and my heels came up again. That's interesting. Anyway, I try to do that. I try to do that a couple of times a week. As I'm going past a doorway, I will actually stand against it. Yes, Kimmy's saying that she has rheumatoid arthritis and she tries to stand straight as well. So it's a really good exercise, because I find if you concentrate on it, you notice I was aware that even as I tried to straighten, my heels were coming up. So then I had to force them back down. And then I noticed that my back moved away, and I went, okay, that needs, and what I did was I was able to adjust my posture. The other thing is, think about the fact that we spend a lot of time looking into computers. It is about the worst possible thing for posture. It is the reason that I started to do broadcasts out of the cupboard. Why? Because I'm not sitting doing those broadcasts. I'm not sitting for hours at a time looking down at a computer. I am now looking up. By the way, exercises these muscles a little bit. I've still got chins, but not as bad as chins like that, right? And so what I find is that my posture is better because I'm standing during the broadcast, and I'm moving during the broadcast, right? You probably noticed, I swing backwards and forwards. I'm leaning on the countertop here. I move from side to side. So I'm not just sitting. Really important. And I did find, as you know, the addition of a ball chair at my computer in the craft room, really good idea, because you are constantly balancing on that. Your feet are on the ground, but you are constantly using your legs to keep your balance and so forth. And I don't think what did I spend? About $100 on that quite some years ago now. And I want to tell you, I've never regretted it. In fact, it is my most comfortable place to sit and work on the computer. The reason is you have to be pretty balanced to be able to sit on it. And therefore, when I'm working at the computer, I am constantly adjusting my posture to keep balance. Makes sense? So think about eating better. As you know, I have been eating better bit by bit. I still have things that most people would never dream I eat, but I do because I've worked out a way that I can do it and still keep my blood pressure blood glucose under control. And hopefully I'll see about my blood pressure. My blood pressure appears to be under control, but my doctor might still want to control it more. I don't know. That's his call, not mine. The other thing I wanted to say, I believe, is another exercise in self-care is, how are you sleeping? And self-care equals self-esteem. Remember that. If you're not getting enough sleep, your mood will change, your anxiety will change, all sorts of things. So I found that you've got basically what they call the light sleep, and then you've got the deep sleep. And what I found was the sleep that I got was, most of it was in here, and then I'd wake up again. Now, I started to trade my sleep graph, because I've got a watch that gives me a graph on it, with Lauren. And what I found out is Lauren's graph went like this. She went from being awake to going doomph, and then she do here, and then she comes up, and she goes up here, and she goes boomp down here, and then she comes back up, and she wakes up. Now that's a whole different pattern from mine, which was just going in there. So she spent the majority either in low, light to deep, and in deep sleep. And being who I am, how many of you believe in the law of attraction? I do. So what I said to myself is, I want to be able to do that. Will wishing make it so? No. But wishing it is a good place to start. So what I found out was, I did all sorts of different experiments, because it's me, until I found out that if I go to bed and not worry about what time it is, in other words, don't go to bed and just go, I need to be asleep now, so turn out. What I do is I go to bed, and then I sit with my phone. I lie down in bed. I don't sit up. I lie down in bed with my with my cell phone, and I've got a game that I play. Now, this is, I know that they say you shouldn't have your electronics and everything. I have my television on all night. It's white noise for me, and it helps. But here's the thing. I play this little game, and I play it until I yawn. Once I start to yawn, I go, okay, be a good time to go and use the washroom now. Why? Because I know if I'm deep enough down that I'm starting to yawn, then I'm going to be asleep pretty darn soon. So then I go and use the washroom, and I come back and I carry on playing. The next thing I know is I will drop the phone. So good idea, if your hand is not over the edge of the bed, make sure your hand is on the bed. So when you drop the phone, and that'll wake you up again. But what do you know? You are now ready to sleep. If your body relaxed enough to drop the phone, you already went to sleep. Think about that. So now that's what I do. And I don't watch the time. I just now go, is my body ready to sleep? But I do it lying down, all right? I'm not sitting up watching videos, I'm just doing this one little game. Or I read. That's the other thing. If you can read on your phone, you'll be amazed how that lowers. And concentrate on reading. Focus on reading. Don't focus on everything else around you. Don't focus on how active you can be in your mind. Think about slowing your mind down. That's what you're trying to do. So, Jody, I understand you like to watch the YouTube videos on cooking, but I would like to say that probably stimulates you rather than slows you down. And what you're trying to do is to not, do that. The game that I play, requires some time between moves and things. So sometimes just that little bit of time between the moves is when I fall asleep. So I know, okay, I'm ready to go now. But I want to really thank Lauren, because without watching Lauren's pattern on a daily basis, because Lauren and I exchange those, I would not have known what it looks like to go into deep sleep. And I just want to show you, because I'm so proud of myself. How long have I been working on this? Probably a year. And okay, I don't think that all right, this is one of Lauren's. I'm sure she won't mind my sharing it. You see how she drops right down into deep sleep immediately? And I went, I want to be able to do that. The other thing I want to let you know is that on a Saturday night, I tell myself I can sleep as long as I want to. And by the way, I didn't wake up until midday today. And I went to sleep at 2:00, but look at the pattern. Do you see how I went straight down into deep sleep and stayed there? That is the longest deep sleep I think I've ever had. It was 1 hour and 31 minutes. And I don't know why, I was so proud of myself. And it's like, I did it. But it took me a long time to learn how to do it. Kimmy is, first of all, Kimmy, in answer to your question, yes, it is the chair that looks like a ball. I've got a ball on wheels. All right. So I've actually got a chair with a ball in it. So it's not just the ball, but you can get just the ball. That would be very good exercise for a lot of muscles, quite honestly. But mine, it's like I sort of push myself around on it. Because I'm going from one desk to, I've got an L-shaped desk. So I go from the computer to doing something with my cutting machine or whatever. So I'm doing a lot of twisting and turning of my core. All right. Hi, Kez. Kez is saying, I saw a documentary where they got some people to not sleep for 24 hours and others for 48. And then they got them to do things before the test and then repeat them after. The ones that were time sleep limited found that it was just like being drunk. Yes. And so if you're not getting enough sleep, first of all, that's not a good thing. But if the quality of your sleep is not good, then also it slows down your reaction times, as Jody is saying. Yep, absolutely. Now, I know what you're saying. I can't control that. Well, hello. I refuse to believe that I couldn't control it. You see, I believe that when I say to myself, I would like a sleep pattern like that, I'm now starting to research, how do I get it? And it said, turn off all your electronics when you go to bed. And I'm going, that's not going to happen. Can I do it without, can I do it without doing that? You see, you know me. What can I do? No, don't tell me what I can't do. Don't tell me I've got to turn off the news. It's noise. It helps me. I don't know why. It's just low enough that I can't really hear it. But if it's something really important, they're inclined to up the rate of speaking and their tone. Like if there's breaking news, then I pay attention. But other than that, it's just going on. And it's just like, how can I do this? And then I found out it started to work. Jody, it started to work, about 6 months ago, I think. And now I've been improving on it. And now I know I can do it. I just have to have the discipline to do it the right way. So, all right. So Kim has just sent me her sleep pattern. And so now the good news is, Kimmy, you now know what you've got, and you are getting some deep sleep, quite a bit of deep sleep. Does it give you the totals? Okay, so Kim, well done. But, keep aware of it is my suggestion. All right. See that as self-care, that you keep aware of it. And I would say, if you would like to, maybe some of us will start sharing that on our fitness group. Because if you think about it, if I am aware of it, I will improve it. All right. So Jody, I would suggest that you might want to, I thought your watch did have a sleep graph on it, but maybe it doesn't. So number one, Jody, you need to improve the number of hours sleep that you get, right? We know that. And you were doing that for a while before you had, the surgery and everything. You were up to about 7 or 8 hours sleep a night, or 6 or 7 hours anyway. So we know you can do it. And what I would like you to do, Jody, is just, be more accountable on it. In other words, even if it's just with Lauren and myself, right? Just let us know how much sleep you're getting, because you will get embarrassed about that. And I know you, when you get embarrassed, you'll do something about it. She said that she did have a graph, but it skewed the sleep time by a few hours. Well, mine does as well, if you notice, Jody. It sometimes, because I will sleep and then need to get up and go to the washroom, and then I go back to sleep again. So the thing is this, that if you're doing that, you know what time you went to sleep, roughly. You know whether it was 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock. All right. Even if it's a half-hour difference, you know roughly when you went to sleep. And so even I have to do that with mine every now and then, because it'll say I slept 4 hours, but then when I look at it, what it's showing me is from 5 o'clock onwards. It's not showing me from 2 o'clock to 5. So I'll just add the 3 hours on. Okay. Kimmy's asking, what app is that? It is the app in your fitness watch. So it depends what fitness watch you've got. I believe that Google now has a fitness app. So that works on your Android or whatever. So we'll look it up. I would if you've got a cell phone. Okay, I think you definitely need a fitness watch, because if you take your fitness watch off, you will see it's bleeping like that. What it's doing is monitoring the blood flow and pulse and everything. And it can tell that you have just gone into sleep because your heart rate went down. That's what it's measuring, your heart rate. And so then it'll tell you that you've got into deep sleep, because guess what? Your heart rate has dropped even more. All right. So it's monitoring your heart rate. So I want to go back to the self-esteem thing. And can you imagine that here I was with this really big bill to pay? And I scared myself a little bit on that one. No, I scared myself quite a bit on that one. What does that do to my self-esteem? Not I feel like a pathetic person because I'm scared. And so, wait a minute. I just want to read what Kez put up here. Kez said, I use a large exercise ball at physio, put against a wall, the lower part of my back where it curves, and squat down, and sometimes include lifting weights up and down at the same time. It feels really good for the whole body. Yes. Beth said, if you haven't got a ball chair or an exercise ball, Beth says if you want to do the easy one to stretch your spine properly, and help Jody and help your posture, without a doubt. You may need some help from Lionel on this one, but Beth swears by lie on the floor and put your feet up the wall. Even Jody, even if you can lie on your bed, pull the pillows away and lie at the head of your bed and put your feet. Is your head of your bed against a wall? I think it is, if I remember correctly. So literally take the pillows away and lie, and get Lionel to help you put your feet up the wall and feel what that does to your spine. And, don't overdo it. Just go as far as you can. And then concentrate. You'll probably end up at this angle to start with, right? You can't get it at this angle. But then every day that you do it, try bringing your butt in a bit more, and just literally scrunch your way closer. And your goal is the length of the bed is against the wall. Okay. So, and how wide is it? I'm just thinking that you could, I would start by trying to do it on your bed. I would measure between your rump and your top of your head. It's a single. Your head might be leaning up a little bit, but I'm sure you'll make a plan, right? Now that you know. But the thing is this, if Lionel can help you get off the floor, then you can do it on the floor. You probably don't want to because it's going to be sore and awkward. I would think with a hospital bed, it should have about, hold on one second. Jody, could you just find out the width of a hospital bed? And I'm just seeing what my width, my distance is from roughly the top of my head to the bottom of my butt is about 90 inches. Would that be a hospital bed? Interesting point. Now, it's not going to be easy to do. I literally just went like this, Jody, to see roughly, 90 inches. So if a hospital bed is 90 inches, that means that 36 inches across? That's nothing. No. Are you serious? Oh, sorry. You're right. That is exactly. It's 90 centimeters. My bad. I'm reading centimeters because I live in Canada. 36. That's what I thought. So, Jody, you're sitting at the moment. And I am a full 5'8", 7". I am 5'7", and so therefore that's 36 inches. You are only 5'3". It would work. Now, Jody, it's a bit like the exercises you were doing with your lymphoderma. It's a case of, do you want to try it and feel what it does to your spine? It really does stretch your spine. So just an idea. And anybody else that's trying to have better posture, how many of you know that my posture is pretty good? The other thing, Jody, is start working on that Start that on that balance board and start doing those yoga exercises. And when I started them, Jody, I had a cane. All right. I actually didn't. I had a chair, but you've got a cane. I know you've got a cane that you can extend so that it can be at this height. And just do the exercises with one hand, and then move the cane over and do the exercise. I want to tell you, that's how I started. When I started doing those yoga exercises on there last November, I could not balance on one foot. I just want you to know that. I couldn't do it. So if you want to make a difference, Jody, you can. And the only way you're going to build up those muscles in your legs and have better posture, there has these stupid exercises, people, where you're doing a yoga exercise and you have to keep balance, that you keep your center of balance in a certain spot. And I want to tell you, mine was going all over the place. And I went, that's insane. I know a year later, I'm not brilliant because I don't do it a lot. But when I do it, I can now do those exercises, Jody, without having a cane. All right? Without having a cane. And what you're looking for are yoga exercises that you can do comfortably. Don't go for the ones that you can't do. I still don't do a lot of the yoga exercises that are on the floor because I don't have anybody to help me up. But if I want to improve my back, and if I want to, and I did it last year, I started to do the floor exercises because I wanted to make sure that if I fell, I could get off the floor. So any of us that are older, good idea to be doing that. All right, now I want to go back to this business about being a terrified little girl as I was. Gosh, I'm nearly out of time and I've got so much more. I will finish all of this or continue it next week because I think it's important stuff to talk about, don't you? What I found was that this business about being terrified about paying this bill, I've done a lot of work on myself, and I know that's my little kid inside, right? My inner child, if you like, that's terrified I'm going to run out of money, or it's terrified that if I let that money go, I will, not be able to look after myself properly. And, it's all stuff like that. And if you don't have good self-esteem, you will let it overtake you. And so I had to talk back to my little child and say to my inner child, hey, honey, I understand you're scared. And I understand that, writing a check for that much money, is going to put a serious dent in our cash flow, and in our available money, but the truth is you need to pay the bill. So, put your big girl pants on and pay the bill. Because I don't know if you can see this, people, but the faster I pay it, the faster I get away from the kid trying to stop me from paying it. And so the question was, what did I need to do to be able to pay it? Well, number one thing is I needed to find out, can I pay it electronically? And I found out that I can only pay so much a day electronically. Now, that actually was quite a nice feeling. I can't pay it all in one load because my bank won't let me. And I went, I don't know why that feels better somehow. And so in order to pay the bill, I paid one amount yesterday. I paid another amount when I got up this morning. I will pay another amount when I get up tomorrow morning. And I'll pay the last amount on Tuesday morning. Can you see that for some peculiar reason, I'm still paying the whole amount, but I don't know why. It just feels a little better. It's still the same amount leaving my bank account. Now, the other thing is I had to remind my inner child that I also am still having more money come back from the insurance. The final check is still to come. And I haven't looked to see how much that is. I know you're probably surprised to hear that, but because I haven't been ready, to look that far ahead because it's not finished. I'll worry about that when it's finished. But now I still need to add to that bill the cost of the lights I have now had to buy, because suddenly this week, more stress, they told me, have I bought the lights? And I'm going, what are you talking about? Have you bought the lights for your bathroom? Well, that's the first I heard about it was this week. When I got that email, have I got the lights? And I'm going, what lights? So anyway, I have ordered up the lights. They should be here tomorrow or Tuesday. So I will be able to get the lights in my bathroom, another step forward to nearly being done. And then I will have another look at how much I will add that to my big list. And then I will find out what the final thing is. I will get them to send it to me again. I don't mind if they have to send it to me again. I know I should have kept it somewhere, but it is somewhere. I just can't find it when I look in my Gmail. I don't know why. So understand that this is about my inner child, right? That's scared. It's not my adult. My adult is pretty practical. My adult knows it's a bill. You got to pay it. You spent the, you did the upgrades. You need to give them the money. There's no maybe about it. So, but my little kid does not want to let go of that money. And then I went, hey. And if I have faith, if I believe, do I believe that the amount that still has to come will probably cover it anyway? I guess the reason there's that part of me that doesn't want to know in case it doesn't. Does that make sense? There's part of me that doesn't want to see it in case the amount that I've just paid and I'm only going to get this much back. I paid this much and I'm only getting, this is the final payment. But there's a possibility the final payment might more than cover it. So maybe I'm at a point now that I'm ready to see what that difference is. But one way or the other, delaying it is not going to change it. I've still got to pay it. And this isn't about the insurance stuff. It is the upgrades I did. Do you remember the upgrade to the shower? Horrific price. But it is. And I also have got to the stage where I am now starting to finish the things that were not finished. I know that I've got more contractors coming on Wednesday, and they're going to be, touching up some more stuff. It's getting there. I would think by the end of September, I should be done. Hallelujah. So how do you feel about my talking about self-esteem? Is it something that's making sense to you? Can you see that how we think about things, how we self-care is how we enable ourselves to be able to cope? Jody, stooping is partly something out of your control because of your spine degenerating. But one thing I'm pretty sure of, and you may want to talk to your physio about this and your doctor, is, will doing yoga strengthen the muscles that help it not deteriorate anymore? I think that is the thing you need to know. And I'm pretty certain you know the answer to that. Right? Remember the situation with the arthritis in my left hip. By the way, because I haven't been doing as much with the Wii and everything, I noticed my left hip. Weather is changing. Guess what? I can feel the arthritis in my left hip. So what do I know? It's time for me to do more work on my left hip. And that means go back to the yoga and go back to doing steps and things. So Jody and the rest of you, you can complain about it or you can do something about it. All right. And if you can't get onto the floor, think about the fact, can you, is the head of your bed against a wall? In which case, move your pillows, put your butt against the wall as far as you can, and then walk your feet up. And of course, you can just go, oh, yeah, and not do it. But then don't complain because you can't stretch your back. There are ways of doing it. I assure you, I lie in bed at night, and part of my routine for calming down is I do stretches. You know that. You've heard me talk about it before. Part of my routine of getting myself ready to sleep is I will lie in bed and I will push my left foot as far as I possibly can down the bed. And boy, I can feel it in my spine. And I'll do it with my right leg. And then, as you know, I will take my hand. I'm lying flat on my back on my bed, and I will take my hand and I will put it all the way back till it's lying flat on my bed like this. I want to tell you, you can feel muscles working that you didn't realize. And then I'll take the other one and do the same thing. Okay, and then I will take my hands and stretch them up as far as I possibly can. I can feel that in my back right now. You see, it's like, do you want to say I can't do it because I can't get on the floor? Or I can't do it because. Remember Sal's system. What can I do? I maybe can't do it on the floor, but I can do it on a bed if I want to. If I want to. Nobody forces you to look after yourself. Think about that. Nobody forces you to look after yourself, unless, of course, you have a heart attack or some other disease because you didn't look after yourself. Be responsible. I knew that if I didn't get deep sleep in my sleep pattern, that I was not being kind to myself. I knew if I didn't lose weight, I was not being kind to myself. It's taken time. I had to be very, very patient. But I have surprisingly lost 5 inches. Can you even believe that? 5 inches off my stomach. And I'm going, was I really that fat? And I was. I know I was. And I know because, I can feel it. All right. And it's just like, wow. I'm beginning to get the result, not by chance, because I put in the effort. Not this is, whoa, yay for me. This is about, do you care enough? I can't force you to be caring enough about yourself. Walk up a flight of stairs every now and then. Do whatever you need to do, but my goodness sake, don't complain about it. Do something about it. Jody is our prime example of somebody I met a couple of years ago who was dying, for goodness sake. And look at what she's done with her life. That was my question to her. Do you want to continue your passage, your path towards dying? Because that's what I hear you're doing. I remember saying it was Must have sounded really harsh to her. Really harsh. And I want to just find that quote again. If I haven't given it to you already, I know I've got it here. The question is, here it is. It is from Wayne Dyer. And I want to finish with this because it is, when I read words like this, and I'm going to quote him as we do more of this, Jodi's saying that comment of mine was the turning point for her life, literally her life, right? Yes, Jodi. And that's why I asked it the way I did, because I needed you to see you got a choice now, one way or the other. I can't control it. Only you can. And by the way, I offered to hold your hand either way. You know, it was your choice, not mine. Nothing to do with me. This is from Wayne Dyer's Your Erroneous Zones. And if you ever can get your hands on this book, if you've got anxiety or depression or just not looking after yourself properly and blaming everybody, I want to tell you this book changed my life. And I would like you to, I want to put up a warning before I read it. Wayne Dyer doesn't mince words. All right? He, as Jodi says, what I said to her wasn't harsh, it was real. That's what Wayne Dyer is. And if you listen to this, this is in the opening part of Your Erroneous Zones. He said, if you are happy, if you live each moment for everything it's worth, then you are an intelligent person. Problem solving is a useful adjunct to your happiness. But if you know that given your ability to resolve a particular concern, you can still choose happiness for yourself, or at the minimum refuse to choose unhappiness, then you are intelligent. You are intelligent because you have the ultimate weapon against the big NBD. Yep, the nervous breakdown. Do you understand what he is saying? He's saying we have a choice whether to be anxious or depressed or whatever. And I love, Jodi's saying he's magnificent. I enjoy his writing. I love his honesty on things. You know, he doesn't sugarcoat it. He just says it like it is. You are intelligent because you have the ultimate weapon against the big MBD, the big nervous breakdown. Boy, I had them in my life. Why? I couldn't deal with the truth. Few good men, right? That's the quote. You can't deal with the truth. By the way, did you know that that wasn't in the script of A Few Good Men? You know, Jack Nicholson saying you couldn't handle the truth to Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise. You know, when he said those words, if they weren't in the script, I found that fascinating. It was one of those moments where Jack Nicholson, where, you know, Tom Cruise says to him, you know, and we want the truth on this. And Nicholson just swings and goes, you couldn't handle the truth. And it wasn't in the script, but of course they left it in because it was brilliant, as Jack Nicholson is. All right, so here's the thing. I want to also check how many of you checked out listening to the rest of the paragraph just because the word adjunct was in there. You see, it's amazing how our minds turn off, right? Oh, that's a big word. I don't know what that means. It's an addition. And I want to tell you something. If you turn off reading a book like this because there's a word in there you don't understand, then guess what? Get smart. Get intelligent. I want to quote Yvonne on this one. My buddy Yvonne, when I met her, did not have a particularly high level of education. And what I found amazing was the greatest gift to her was Google, the internet, and smartphones, and things like that. Why? She now reads a book on her tablet, but she has her phone next to her. And so when she hits a word that she doesn't know, she checks it out. And it's slow reading, or was at the beginning. But, you know, I noticed that over the years that I knew her, you know, we lived in the same house for 20 years, suddenly her vocabulary was coming up and up and up. And every now and then, you know, she'd come up and she'd use a 75-cent word. And I'd go, what are you doing? And then I think, does she know what it means? So I check. Do you know what adjunct means? I mean, it's nice that you used it, but do you know what it means? And she'd go, yeah, it's an addition. All right. So think about that, right? Don't get put off by the words. Learn. Do it as a multifaceted thing. I'm not only going to find out stuff about my self-esteem, but what I thought I would do is I will start going through your erroneous zones and bring out little bits of it so that we can talk about them. And that way, you still get the benefit. Kimmy's saying, I'm trying to make my right leg stronger because it's weak by walking up and down stairs. Yes. And you actually are not trying to make it stronger. You are making it stronger, Kimmy. And I need you to give yourself a personal bonus point every time you walk up and down the stairs. All right? And even if it's difficult to start with, a year ago, Kimmy, I couldn't walk up and down the stairs straight. I had to go sideways so I could hold on to the banister, the steps that leave my house. Right? I couldn't just walk down. Today, I can walk down without holding a banister with either hand. Some days are a little bit better than others, but I can do it. And what does that tell you? My strength in my body, my core strength, that would be the word, has improved that much. And I'm nearly balanced on my 2 legs. I know I've done the work. I know I deserve it. I'm proud of myself. The same as every day that I hear what Jodi's up to. I am so proud of her. This is a human being doing the best she possibly can at everything that life is throwing at her. I am so proud of her. She is not giving excuses for things. She is just going, what can I do? That takes an incredible amount of courage. It takes an incredible amount of self-esteem. And it takes, I am pretty certain, a great number of tears and frustrations, and probably the air turns blue every now and then as well, Jodi. But you are doing it. And I, for one, am so proud of you. It is my honor to actually walk this journey with you. This is DearMamaSal saying our self-esteem is not by chance. Our self-esteem is we're doing things that make us feel good. We are treating ourselves to a fun product. Oh, wrong one. That makes us smile. We are making sure that I have enough Marmite on hand for the next season. You understand, it is not by chance. It's things that make me feel good. It's not about making everybody else feel good. I want to feel good. And if I learn how to bake crackers so that I can save a few bucks so I can afford to buy this, then you understand, yeah, I'm happy to do that. And by the way, I was pleasantly surprised. This is DearMamaSal saying, you make choices every day. Make choices, good ones, not excuses. You will know how intelligent you are by the number of excuses you give. All right? If your life is full of excuses, well, yes, but. Or I couldn't do it because, then you will know it is time to smarten up and grow up. That's your child. Doesn't want to take responsibility for your own well-being. So, the way you get to be stronger, better, more educated, whatever, is that you do the right things. You do the right things. One of the things that I said to Lauren was the reason that her midterm exam, whatever it was that she took, was easier for her than normal is she had done the work. You do enough studying, the exam isn't that difficult. If you don't do enough studying, it's amazing the anxiety that goes with it. Think about that. This is DearMamaSal saying, hey, thank you for being here. I hope this helped a little. I hope it made you think a little. Don't beat up on yourself. Just go, what do I want to change? And start doing it. Look after one another, but most of all, please, like Jodi, look after yourself. I am out of here. I'm not going for Chinese tonight. I am taking that money and using it for something else that I need. This is DearMamaSal saying, Bye-bye for now.